Welcome back, Hot Wheels collectors and fans. We are looking at vintage blue card Hot Wheels circa 1990. In this video, episode 7 of my blue card series, year by year, we're slugging through the hundreds of blue card variations that existed back in the day, looking at all of the cars from number 60, which includes the Lamborghini Countach, one of my favorite all-metal die-cast models, all the way through to number 68. Now, I realize that's not that many cars to look at, but it is. Look at how many variations existed on these cars. Simply, it would take far too long to video more than that, and we've got nothing but time, my friends, nothing but time. This channel's not going anywhere. I'll be here for the long haul. Looking forward to your comments and questions as well. I've been a little out of the loop as of late when it comes to the video production, but today we're going to look at some really cool cars to make up for that, and lots of very rare variations to make note of. Everything is going to be discussed in great detail here, including pricing. Certainly all of the notes that you're going to want to take if you are collecting these cars. Quite fun to find these at your flea market still, if and when they open, or if they are open right now. I'm not really sure, not in my neck of the woods, but hopefully by the summertime. Also, eBay is your friend, although they are getting a little harder to come by as the years go on. Let's get right into it. We left off with episode number 6, looking at the Sheriff Patrol. That was number 59. Now, of course, if you want to go back through my video history and look at those, head to the channel homepage and look for the Hot Wheels reviews, and you're going to find my year-by-years going all the way back to 1974. That's when I started the year-by-year review. So all of these cars on this wall, the really old ones, have been reviewed already in a video. And we're moving forwards now at 1990. So we've already looked at 20 years worth of Hot Wheels. Almost every variation known to exist and more. I've found plenty more in my 15, 20 years of hardcore collecting Hot Wheels. Let's look at some of those today. All right, so we are going to start this off in order, picking up where we left off. Number 60, that's the Lamborghini Countach. So I've got a whole bunch in the back. Got the camera on a tripod. Let's hope the focus works on the Samsung, because I've been having some problems with it. I'll try to just keep moving along if we do have some problems. But here, first and foremost, my 1994 special prize release Revealers Hot Wheel Lamborghini Countach, all metal, gold plated, and that's worth about $200 in this condition, 150 to 200 US dollars. It's about what I paid for it, I think, several years ago. So they've kind of held their value. I'm not really sure if they're going up in value or not. Really depends on supply and demand. And there are very few of these cars out there. So now they've probably made a little video of it. They're probably going to go up in value. But anyways, we'll get that one out of the way because it isn't really part of this review, as it isn't until much later on in the year. The other thing I should make note of is the few cars that I do have on the blue card, so to speak. Well, they don't have the collector number that you typically saw on these blue card cars, because I live in Canada, and in Canada, they often released these cars after or during the production run without the blue card collector number on it, although they still are exactly the same. You can see these were purchased at Zellers, a store that is now long since defunct, for 96 cents. And I'm not opening any of these up today. As you can see, I have quite a few cars already to show you, but we are going to reference some things on some of these cars and their packages. Now, the Lamborghini Countach that you saw here in red, that is collector number 232. It's confusing a little bit, but Hot Wheels did release the same castings through the years of the blue card collection with different collector numbers. So this one, the white version, is number 60. So we're not really going to pay too much attention to the number 232 collectors in this video. But we will look at some of the interesting variations that are noted on both the 1990 and 1993-94 red versions. First and foremost, it should be noted that this Lamborghini Countach was released first in 1988, of which I have this interesting version with no tampos on it whatsoever. That's a rare car to find, but probably an easy one to duplicate simply by rubbing tampos off of any other regular version, as there really is no difference on the base or anywhere else that I can note. So this car, just a reference point, again, 1988. We're not looking at 1988, we're looking at 1990. But to bring you forward into time, let's look at 1989's releases of these cars. Oh my goodness, we just about lost the GUH Lambo. That would have been bad. But we've got some really nice ones here. This one has the Lamborghini Bull Tampo on the hood. It's a very rare Lamborghini Hot Wheel, and I've got a couple of these, but they are hard to come by. Typically a little bit more expensive than your other Lamborghinis, which I would consider common, with the silver Ultra Hot Wheel, UH wheel. And these ones here, both the same. Just got them out here to reference the window tint variations here. As you can see, almost, I believe, completely opaque black plastic windows on this 89 version, which we're going to put aside now. And I'm just really showing off that I have two of these cars. But let's move forwards into what is actually important, is that that window variation, it continued to crop up. Here we have two of the lighter window variations that I've noted, but at the exact same card and year, we've got a dark window tint variation. Now this one's hard to see because I realize it's in the packaging, and the packaging's not in terrible condition, otherwise I would just rip it right out. At this point, I'm going to leave it in the packaging, but there is that variation to note. I don't know if this one is worth a lot more or what. I don't even really remember what I paid for it, but it is more uncommon than this light window variation, which I have 3 or 4 of them out here already, without even trying to look for them. So that's what we got going on there. This white version here has the gold GUH, gold Ultra Hot wheel versus the chrome wheel. It does have just a kind of a normal medium smoke window. But this is a number 232 car as well. So the only reason I'm showing it now is because if you do have one of these, you might be wondering why I missed it. I'm not really missing it. It just isn't going to be in the show until later. So with that, I think we can safely put most of these Lamborghinis aside. One thing I want to note was that those dark window tint variations showed up in the later 232 card numbers, as well as the light window tint variation. So this is a pretty common window variation, just not really sure which cars it's most common for. So lots of Lamborghinis, really one of my favorite castings. It's a big, heavy, wide car, and so iconic of the 1980s. It was pretty much in every car chasey type movie of the time. Those are all fairly common cars, really nothing worth too much. So number 61, unreleased, and number 62 is the Alien. So let's just swing the camera and tripod over to the Alien, and that's this little row of red and blue cars. Oh, we've got another one of these hiding back there. Is that the same one? That's the same one. I'll put that down safe and sound. I'm not going to fling it off the table by accident. And there you have the Aliens. A few Radar Rangers in the way. So let's look at the Aliens. The blue version with the Ultra Hot Wheel, that's a 1988 release. So just a kind of a reference point for you. In 1988 and 89, this red plastic version was released. It's extremely common and has the Ultra Hot Wheels. That was released onto the blue cards for number 62. And it also came out in number 62 with the 5 dot and the 5 spoke. Now these may have been on faded blue cards. I believe I may have cracked those. As the 5 dot, oh my goodness, the 5 dot hadn't been released yet as far as a wheel goes in 1990. The 5 spoke had, but I do believe both of these are the faded blue card variants. And if you don't know what I mean by a faded blue card, let me just quickly grab one here from the table. This is like a faded blue card, so it's got the same kind of artwork on the top, but the cardboard fades to white at the bottom. I still consider these part of the blue card collection, as they are in the blue card collection and numbered, but to each their own. It's up to you how you want to collect your cars. I'm not a cardboard collector, so that's why I've got them all together. But the point I'm getting at here is there's 2 colors of plastic to be noted here. Dark red plastic is found on the 1988, 89, and some 1990 Aliens. And then for the different wheel variations and some ultra hot versions, which are probably the rare ones, it got this bright red plastic, which you can see is evident on the 5 spoke and the 5 dot. Those cars are all pretty much worthless. They're maybe worth a few dollars each. I shouldn't say worthless, but you're not going to have a whole lot of trouble finding those cars, I don't think, except for the blue one. Number 63 is the Radar Ranger. So we've got that one in our scopes already. This one came out with 5-spoke, 7-spoke, construction tires, CTS, the other type of construction, the OCT tire, black center construction tires. Of course, this being a very simple variation to make, just wiping off the chrome with some solvents can create that variation. So without the packaging, these aren't worth nearly as much as they might otherwise be. I did open these all up a while back because I really, like I said, I don't really care about the value. I'm not intent on selling these cars. Certainly not these ones. I do have some duplicates that maybe one day I'll sell. That's not happening just yet. So Radar Ranger variants, these are amazingly quite valuable. This one would be worth around $30 to $35 if in its card still. I mean, I know this is an authentic one, so I value it, you know, kind of half that, I guess, still. The rest of these ones here, very common to see with the chrome CT wheels. Huge heavy castings, like none you'll see on shelves today in 2021. These are solid vehicles, real toys. And they've got this rotating radar dish. And there is a variation of one of these ones with a unchromed dish. Again, that's another fairly easy one to kind of copy if you really wanted to have one on your wall and couldn't find one. I don't know the value of that particular variation as I have not actively searched for it. I guess I should probably add it to the list. So anyways, a range of values from about $1 to $30 on these Radar Rangers. Not probably for everyone. These are kind of the fantasy style vehicles, but very iconic of the 1980s, 90s childhood themed cartoons and movies of the time with the sci-fi. I better not tease you too much with those F40s. Those are number 69, so we're not going to actually see those in this video. They're coming in the next installation, episode 8. But we are moving on to number 64, which was unreleased. Why did Hot Wheels have collector numbers they didn't put a car to? I don't know. I really don't. Number 65, though, is probably my favorite after the Lamborghini Countaches, or maybe even before. Probably, yeah, no, definitely before. I just love these little Beetles. These Volkswagen Bug, as they're known, they were released originally in 1989. This is the 1989 version here. It was, of course, released in 1990 as well on the blue card, collector number 65. These are valuable cars to find on the packaging, and even in mint loose condition such as these, they do command quite a price. This one would be worth around $10, I would think, $15, maybe $20 in that condition. This one was only released in 1990, though. It has the blue in the tampo, replacing the magenta. Otherwise, basically the same. This is a very rare car. That one you could pay upwards $30, $35 for that car on card. And even loose, it can command quite a price, of course. Same true for all the Hot Wheels. The really interesting variation, though, for this car, and one I discovered all at once when I bought this entire collection of Volkswagens off a collector years ago on eBay, is this huge variation in tampo outline on the flames. I'm not sure if you can see that already. Let's see if we can bring the camera in a little bit here on these. We've got a light aqua blue outline on the flames, a medium blue outline on the flames, and this wraps around all sides except for the back. Then we've got a dark blue outline on the flames, and again, another kind of, I think that's a medium blue outline on the flames. But we've got red variations like crazy here. These are really noticeable. Hopefully the camera's picking up on this, and hopefully you're not red-green colorblind and can see this. But for me, I can see that this car is a very bright fire engine red, and these ones are more of like a cherry red, I guess. There's even variations in the cherry red. There's a dark cherry red, kind of a glowy, brighter cherry red, a pinky cherry red. So I don't know what was going on in the red paint department, in the tampo department. Maybe these cars were produced in different countries at the time, but the bases are all the same. Malaysia with Hot Wheel logo. And as you can see, blister pulls from someone. I may have even opened up a couple of these cars. I don't think I did, though. I'm pretty sure I bought these all loose. I would put the value on these cars if I was selling them quite high. Probably around at least $35 each. Maybe higher. And just see if they were to sell at that price. There's a lot of Volkswagen enthusiasts, more importantly than there are Hot Wheel collectors of Volkswagen Bugs. And that's why you're going to see certain cars drastically increased in price since, say, the last price guide released by whomever in the last 10 years. Price guides haven't really kept up to date with the auto industry as well, and taking that into effect. The value on the cars, not just how many Hot Wheels were produced of a certain variation. So someone that really likes Volkswagen Bugs might pay a lot for these cars. I don't really know. They're not for sale. So number 66, an otherwise somewhat mundane car in my collection. Let's just shift the camera's focus over. Apologies for all this hectic camera movement, but this is just too much fun to break the video up. I'm having way too much fun here. So we've got the custom Corvette. This is a C5 Corvette, I believe. And this interesting packaged version is from 1989. It's a Hot Wheels experimental unpunched. These were not sold in stores, I don't think, or very limited. 1989. And ultimately they went with the blue card artwork, not this. I guess this was kind of an idea before blue card. No collector number on the front of it. This car is important, though, because it has a clear windshield, which is very, very rare. I did open one of these. I managed to buy a couple of these. I think I paid about $20, $25 for these years ago. I kept the nicer one on the package, and I cracked one loose because I really wanted to have one on the wall. And also of interest is there's just so many variations here that aren't listed in a lot of the guidebooks that I've seen or referenced. So I bring to you my firsthand knowledge here on this stuff. But we've got everything from Tampo variations on the hood. You can see ZR1 has been kind of grafted onto that mustardy yellow Tampo on the hood, and it's not on this one. You can also see there's two different colors of metallic red here. We've got a dark metallic red with bright yellow stripes, and then these dull yellow stripes on a bright metallic red. Then we've got the base variations. This is the billionth Hot Wheel base variation in black. Possibly a McDonald's release as well, but this was meant to sit on the stand of the billionth car podium stand. I've got one somewhere. I meant to pull it out for this video, but I have not. So alas, this is an 83 custom Corvette is what it says on the bottom. So pretty simplistic design of a car now as far as a toy goes, but still one of those really iconic Hot Wheels that was quite desirable for quite a long time. So values on these are actually quite high if found mint loose or mint on the card. Mint loose would be good too. As you can see, mine aren't so minty. These are the one cars in this video that I don't have in entirety in their mintness. But just to show you, I do have a few of these cars with the podium base, and that would be for this car. This is the 1 billionth Hot Wheel produced version, gold chrome. It's in pretty rough shape, but they aren't overly expensive to buy, so maybe I'll keep an eye out for one of those. And then the other three for the billionth car release in 1994 was the 75 Corvette Stingray, 63 split window, and the 1980, doesn't have an opening hood. Doesn't have an opening hood on that one. 1980, I think, version of that one. Anyways, really nice Corvettes. Just wanted to bring those out to kind of put that one into perspective with the base variations that we're talking about. Now, those base variations, if you have the billionth car base in this car, I guess there were somewhere like $30, $40 maybe on mint card. I don't know if people are going to spend that to this day. Hardcore cardboard collectors will. But as you can see, there's lots of these cars around. They almost all look the same, but there are those interesting little variations, such as here's another one with the ZR1. Not grafted on the hood. It's just kind of on there with the Tampo like it should have been. So I'm not really sure what happened with the Tampo factory, how important it was. Maybe Chevrolet came to Hot Wheels and went, hey, we don't want just Corvette, we want ZR1 on there. Or maybe someone just thought it was a good idea to put it on there. I don't really know. The ZR1 Tampo seems to be on about half the cars. Metallic paint variations are notable, dark and light. Mostly light, though. I think we've said everything we can say about those cars. So moving on to the next car in the series, number 67. That is the 32 delivery. 32, I think it's a Ford delivery. And the first release of this one was in 1989. Had this magenta, orange, and I don't know, pale orange Tampo on the side. Pretty common. worth about $10, maybe $5 loose. But in 1990, they released this one with the blue, replacing the magenta in the bottom of the tampo. And as far as delivery goes, it's also in blue. Otherwise, basically exactly the same. However, as I was buying those very interesting assortment of Volkswagen Bugs from the same collector, I found this interesting collection. Something I had never seen before was the dark yellow paint on this 32 delivery. So quite rare. I would say it's much more rare than the more lemon canary yellow, I guess. Lemon, I guess we'll call it. Now, the yellow variation is one that's been known since the beginning of time, really, as far as Hot Wheels go. 1977, here's an example. We've got the Maxi Taxi in dark yellow and lemon yellow. Again, I hope that's showing up on the camera, but this is a noticeable variation. So it's just really interesting to see the variations in the yellows through the years that Hot Wheels has. So that brings us to number 68, and that is the tea bucket. It's not the tea bag, it's the tea bucket. It's based off of like an old Ford coupe of some sort, maybe a Model A or something. I don't know exactly, but it doesn't really tell you on the base. So it's very hard to find these cars unless they're not in the packaging, or unless, you know, the seller knows what they've got and you know what you're looking for, because a lot of Hot Wheels don't say anything on them. They've got the copyright dates on the base, of course, which are somewhat meaningless as the cars are re-released through the years. And usually that date references when the car casting was first made. So in 1988, they first made these in orange and yellow. And here is two beautiful examples of that. The orange one, of course, being quite rare, a lot more rare than the yellow ones. But this is a 1988 release only, so it's not on the blue card. Just another reference point for you guys, in case you're wondering, hey, why do I have an orange one? If you're so lucky to, it's an older version. This one here, 88, 89, and in 1990, it made it to the blue card, collector numbers, and also it got a 5-spoke wheel variation in the 1990 blue card years. So those are all very common. They're worth about $10, $15, I guess. Not overly expensive. The orange one, probably worth about double that, I would say, at the very least, maybe even more. Maybe not. Maybe I'm a little out of touch on that. I haven't been shopping for these cars for a while. As you can see, I already have them. And that brings us to number 69, which we're going to save for a future video. But main reason is I've got more of these cars hiding. There's a lot of variations of the F40. And this is a car that has gone up tremendously in value so far as a toy, even though it's a very common, or was a very common, Hot Wheel casting to find in this very realistic and authentic red with the opening engine cowling at the back. Lots of nice details, all metal. These are known to race really well on downhill speed tracks, so a lot of them have been pilfered for that. Kids like to put them on the powered tracks as well, so they just get destroyed. This one is a rare gold ultra hot wheel variation. We've got gold BBS, we've got ultra hot, and I've even got casting differences as far as the back one having a license plate on this side. This one does not. These are 1989 variations. So I've already kind of spoiled a little bit of the start of the next video. Hot Wheels Blue Card episode 8 coming. We're going to be starting with collector number 69. That's this one in episode 8. I hope you enjoyed episode 7. Lots more videos to come. Not just Hot Wheels, every brand, 1/64 scale die cast is my thing. Stick around, and as always, happy hunting.